Ayon kay Senador J.V. Ejercito, tila nabalam at napabayaan ang mga malalaking infrastructure project na isinusulong sa ilalim ng Build program ng Administrasyong Duterte. Partikular na ang South Long Haul Railway patungong Bicol at ang Mindanao Railway System. Sa isang press briefing, sinabi niya na kung mabibigyan ng pagkakataon ay ipapaabot niya mismo kay Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang kanyang pagkadismaya sa usad pagong na implementasyon ng mga proyektong ito.
I'm hoping that itong last 3 years, ang daming political noise, ang daming ganap ngayon, but doon ako frustrate kasi we have a lot of catching up to do. Ang dami nating problema, ang dami nating kailangan gawin para makahabol sa ating mga Asian neighbors, para maging attractive.
Aniya, mahalaga hindi lamang sa konektibidad, kundi bilang pundasyon para sa paglikha ng trabaho at mas maraming oportunidad ang mga proyekto gaya ng North-South Commuter Railway o NSCR, Metro Manila Subway, Mindanao Railway at PNR South Long Haul.
Kaya po nung nasil po yung NSCR and Metro Manila Subway with Japan, lagi po ako nakasama doon and I was a witness. Na-excite po ako kasi ito na yung di ba? At least mangyayari na. On the hindsight, 1998 panahon pa ng President Erap, North Rail, South Rail, we lost already almost 30 years.
Sabi ng Senador, sa unang taon ng Administrasyong Marcos ay umaasa siyang ipagpapatuloy ang momentum na nasimulan sa ilalim ng slogang Build Better More.
Actually, nasiro yan sa budget na nga for last year. Coming from the House, wala na zero budget. Nilagyan ng Senado yan ng at least 200 million each for the project management office to continue na at least magtuloy-tuloy yung monitoring, yung studies, yung monitoring ng right of ways na kung may sakaling meron ng entity na mag-take over, ready na tayo.
Giit niya ang mga gitong proyekto ang tunay na long-term investment ng bansa. Bukod sa infrastruktura, nagpahayag din si Ejercito ng panghihinayang sa maagang bangayan sa administrasyon.
Ang aga ng bangayan sa administrasyon na ito, 1.5 years, 2 years, nagsimula na ang bangayan. Nanghinayang ako doon sa momentum, with the biggest mandates ever received by both the President, the Vice President. We were off to a good start. Ang ganda ng goodwill. Kaya lang napaaga yung bangayan na ito, humantong na nga po tayo sa magkakaroon na ng impeachment.
Sa huli, nananawagan si Ejercito na sana'y matapos na agad ang issue ng impeachment para naman muling matutukan ang mga totoong problema ng bansa.
Ang worry ko rito, yung sabi ko nga, Vietnam is already leaving us, nakalamang na sila they're doing all the right things. Habang tayo nakastagnate.
Anyway, sir, doon ko sa pagpapaliban ng EDSA rehabilitation, sapat ba yung 1 month para i-assess yung mga dapat gawin para tapusin daw ng 6 months instead na 2 years yung EDSA rehabilitation? At open po ba ang government sa inyong suggestion na tapusin muna yung mga railway projects bago simulan yung EDSA rehab? Well,
I think I was the only one who spoke against it, Kasi unang-una, pinag-usapan ba ng yan? Was it just DPWH? Kasama ba ibang ahensya dyan? Nagkaroon ba ng economic impact assessment bago mag-decide na magkakaroon ng total rehabilitation ng EDSA, and that will sabi ko nga, hindi lang yan chaos, hindi lang yan magulo, super gulo yan. Right now, what we have right now, yung volume ng vehicles, talagang sobra-sobra na. Meron akong 1.8 million motorcycles, 1.5 million cars, 125,000 PUJs, 20,000 buses. Ito yung volume sa Metro Manila, And the main thoroughfare, of course, is EDSA. Ang isa pang worry ko dyan, yung vehicle sales sa binigay kong data noon, 300,000 every year. Ngayon po, 2024 to 2020, 500,000 pala ang bagong vehicle sales. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? In 3 years' time, we will have about 1 million vehicles added to our streets. And EDSA is not kahit anong rehabilitation ang gawin dyan. Hindi naman yan lalapad, di ba? Yun na yun eh. Ang gagawin ng rehabilitation, reblocking, ayusin yung pavement, ayusin ang sidewalks. So, Ang problema natin is the volume of cars. So kahit gaano kakinis pa yung EDSA na pwede mong higaan, sa ganda, halimbawa yung kanilang pagkakaayos, yung vehicle volume will still be the same. That's why my suggestion is finish the ongoing railway projects, the North-South Commuter Railway, the Metro Manila Subway System, the MRT-7, and kung meron pang ibang maidadagdag. I have been talking about pushing for the railway system for the longest time na sabi ko sa house noon, naalala ko na pag nag-privilege speech ako about the railways dahil hindi pa naman masyadong traffic, wala naman nakikinig sa akin nun eh. But I think this is the way to go. Sabi ko, railway is the only way because of our increasing population, our development, yung volume ay dadami na, hindi na talaga mababawasan. Ito po yung ginawa ng ating ASEAN neighbors, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and now Vietnam. They invested heavily in infrastructure in the 90s. Ngayon po, pag pumunta kayo sa mga bansang to, they are already reaping the fruits of their labor. Ang Vietnam, inuunahan na tayo. So, yung economic impact assessment, kaya ako nabanggit, ano po, ang problema natin, we're losing 3.2 billion a day because of traffic. No? And it will increase to 5.6 billion by 2035 kung wala tayong gawing high-impact projects for infrastructure. So, yun po yung ADEA na, yung gasolinang nasusunog dahil sa traffic, yung oras ng bawat tao na naiipit sa traffic and others. Second, foreign investments. Dapat to i-consider din. Kung titignan mo ang ASEAN ngayon, dati po nasa top 3 tayo, top 5 easily. Now, inunahan tayo ng Vietnam na. Di ba? Singapore, of course, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and now Vietnam. Tapos pang-anim na tayo. One of the reasons is high cost of energy, labor cost, and weak infrastructure. So, kung gagawin mo pa yung EDSA ngayon, panahon na ito, talagang yung foreign investments na inaasam natin, na tinrabaho ng Pangulo nung unang termino, nung unang upo niya, talaga inikot niya for we are open for business. Wala nang pupunta sa atin.
Madi-discourage.
So we have to, ang pinaka-primary consideration is the economic impact because brought about the total rehabilitation.
So hindi yun ang sagot, sir?
Sabi ko nga, kahit gaano kakainis, ganda gawin mong EDSA, ganun pa rin ang vehicle volume eh. Di ba? Hindi naman, ang aim natin, mabawasan yung vehicle volume. Paano mababawasan? Kailangan maging online na ang mga railway system. People should now use the mass transit. Pag maganda at maayos, di ba? Yan ang ginagawa sa Europe, sa Asian neighbors natin. Masyado tayo, we have become a car-centered society for so long. We need to look into mass transit because of our growing population. And I think it's not only convenience, that's why I'm pushing for the railway system, improvement of airports, infrastructure, because it will spread out the development. It will develop the countrysides, hindi lang Metro Manila, Cebu at Davao. Dapat yan, pag may railway, maikalat yan. And this will create growth development areas. We will create growth nodes, opportunities. Yan po ang magiging epekto nito. Opo, mahal po ang infrastructure, but yung pong opportunities and jobs and opportunities, doon lang natin maibibigay yan by creating new growth areas, especially in the provinces.
Sir, do you intend to inform the President and then yung mga concerned government official dyan sa iyong suggestion?
Well, I have given my piece already. Wala naman ako. Siguro kung may chance, hindi naman kasi kami madalas nagkikita ngayon. But if I am given the chance, I will tell the President, I'm hoping that itong last 3 years, ang daming political noise, ang daming ganap ngayon. But doon ako frustrate kasi we have a lot of catching up to do. Ang dami nating problema. Ang dami nating kailangan gawin para makahabol sa ating mga Asian neighbors, para maging attractive. And one is infrastructure, no? Na fast track natin dapat yung ongoing NSCR, Metro Manila Subway System, Mindanao Railway at yung South Long Haul papuntang Bicol na cancel pa or put on hold. Ang suggestion ko, sana itong i-prioritize, hanapan ng magte-take over yung South Long Haul going to Bicol in Mindanao Railway System because this is this is how we will be able to create jobs and opportunities by laying down the tracks, laying down the infrastructure. So sana itong last 3 years, ang bilis ng panahon di ba? Nung una kasi, if you remember, nung panahon po ni Pangulong Duterte, yung pong build, I happened to defend the budget of the DOTR during that time. Kaya po nung nasil po yung NSCR and the Metro Manila Subway with Japan, lagi po ako nakasama doon and I was a witness. Na-excite po ako kasi ito na yung di ba? At least mangyayari na. On the hindsight, 1998 pa, panahon pa ng President Erap, North Rail, South Rail, we lost already almost 30 years. Diba? So, na-excite ako doon. And then, nung pagpasok po ni President Bongbong Marcos, yung build, gagawin build better more, mas lalo ako na-excite. Mas dadamihan pa at magko-concentrate siya infra. Anong nangyari? Nabinbin itong yung South Long Haul and Mindanao Railway. Dapat ho, ito, Mr. President, ako, kaibigan po, I want you to succeed because his success will be our success. Sana po, ito yung hanapan ng solusyon because pang long term po tayo I'm looking at what will be good for the future. Hindi lang, maraming sabi, kailangan natin trabaho at hanap buhay. I think ito po talaga ang investment natin for jobs and opportunities.
So sir, ano yung expectation mo under the leadership of Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon? Considering nakakausap mo siya, lahat ba itong mga frustration mo na nadidelay ng mga projects, may commitment na
Well, I'm optimistic with Secretary Vince Dizon. Actually, nag-meet na kami nung a few weeks before, after he assumed office, kasi since ako po ang malamang na mag-defend ng DOTR budget dahil medyo kabisado na rin natin yan, yun lang ipakiusap ko sa kanya na sana yung pang mga infrastructure projects na nakaput on hold, dapat i-pursue. And he agrees. And I think he's, bagay na bagay ito rin si Vince Dizon for the job kasi marami tayong habulin Sabi ko nga kung lahat ng government official tulad niya na yung hyper, Energizer Bunny nga, Totoy Bibo, lahat na. Pero yan ang kailangan natin And I'm in constant communication with him in the improvement of infrastructure. Hindi lang po yung railways, even the improvement of the airports, seaports. Nag-uusap na kami kung ano yung kinakailangan. May mga ina-identify ako kasi advantage ko layas ako di ba? Because of my passion for riding, napupuntahan ko halos lahat. For example, yung mga airports, Umati airports for the eastern side of Mindanao kasi malayo yan sa sa Davao, pero Davao Oriental, Compostela, Davao de Oro, Caraga region will benefit. Ang ganda rin ng lugar na yon, maraming tourism areas and agricultural centers, but it's about 3-4 hours away from Davao City. So maganda ma-improve natin yung Mati Airport. Nilagyan natin na funds yan last year. Daet Airport also, Naga Airport para naman maging hindi na naka-cancel flight. So we are talking already on different infrastructure needs that we can fund to improve and help stimulate economic growth. Nag-usap na kami maaga, ano pa yung mga ports, airports, pero yung pakiusap ko talaga, sana yung po South Long Haul and Mindanao Railway, matuloy na. Actually, nasiro yan sa budget na nga for last year. Coming from the House, wala na zero budget. Nilagyan ng Senado yan ng at least 200 million each for the project management office to continue na at least magtuloy-tuloy yung monitoring, yung studies, yung monitoring ng right of ways na kung may sakaling meron ng entity na mag-take over, ready na tayo, hindi yung magsa-start right from scratch. So, it was the Senate who added so that the project management office will continue for the South Long Haul and Mindanao Railway System.